Hey guys, welcome to TST Garage. This is Bart coming to you from TST Industries in Florida, bringing you a very special episode. This time we are launching our V2 integrated tail light for the 2013 and up Honda CBR600RR. Now we already have an integrated tail light on the market that we launched in the production of this particular model, and it's very successful, but it's a very basic kind of a tail light. It does have the integrated signal system in it, but it pretty much just mimics the OEM geometry of the taillight. So now we've actually thought back on the original plans and we decided, all right, let's bring something really special to the market. And I think we've really hit that. Our taillights are still available in a choice of clear smoked lens, but what differs on this version, the V2, is a radical redesign of the lens system and also the ability to toggle through 9 different program states within the controller board on this taillight. What that does is allows you to go from standard signal to sequential to pulsar and then get into different braking modes. We will show you that at the end of this video. We'll actually demonstrate it after we install this on the bike. So the purpose of this video is to showcase this to you guys a little bit and then show you how to install it on a bike. We've procured a bone stock brand new 13 and up 600RR. It still has the fender on it. It still has a lot of the OEM components. In fact, the entire bike is OEM. So we will allow ourselves to install a couple different things on it. We already captured the installation of our fender eliminator for this bike in a separate video that we have listed on YouTube and on our website. So look for that there. After we strip this bike down and rebuild it with this taillight, I will put this on to show you guys what it looks like when a typical package is bought from us of all these part combinations and installed on the bike. We'll also do our carbon fiber exhaust tip. We'll put our low profile license plate light on the bike. And since whenever you change your OEM incandescent signals to any LED signal light components, you will get a hyper flash situation where your flashers are going much faster than the OEM 85 cycles per minute rate. And for that purpose, we do include load balancing resistors with these taillights at no cost, but a more preferable method of healing the hyper flash is just a plug and play component. It's the Gen 2 flasher relay that we produce here, and typically guys, when they order this taillight, they'll order this too because it's plug and play. It's not bulky, it doesn't require any wiring. It's just really simple, and it enables you to fine tune your flash rate should you choose to do so. You slip the gray cover off and just adjust it via a little potentiometer that's on the board. Anyway, I am pretty much done yapping here. I'm really excited to work on this and show you guys how great these things look. So let's get started. All right, so step 1 will consist of removing the seats. Passenger seat comes off with a key. And to remove the driver's seat, we need a 5mm Allen key. There are only 2 fasteners on this seat, one on either side of the bike in this location. I like to leave these in. It makes reassembly much simpler. Now we will remove these 4 fasteners from the top of the rear fairing. In addition, we will be removing this fastener, and the same 2 fasteners on the other side. This is once again a 5mm Allen head. And this one up here is a push type fastener that resets via a Phillips head. Repeat on the other side. Now, these 2 panels can be disconnected. I'll grab from the bottom of the forward panel, pull it up just like that. Repeat. And now our rear fairing, rear tail fairing is ready to come up. I have a compound motion where I pull back and rotate up at the same time while spreading the bottom here, and that releases everything without any obstruction. I'll put that to the side, and we'll get ready to go to the next step. At this point, we have access to all the wiring. Right here is where all the plugs come together. So we will first take the wires out of all of the captive wire management geometry here and gain access underneath this boot. We could actually slip it upstream here and gain access to the locking features, like to pry up on the locks and withdraw. And the method from here on is basically depending on whether or not you're just changing the taillight or removing your fender. Since I'm going to be removing the fender, I'm going to disconnect all of these as well. All right, now we can grab a Phillips screwdriver and remove these two screws, one on either side, holding these steel brackets to the plastic undertail. That will release our taillight, and then we can take it to the table and swap over some parts from this assembly to our new TST Industries taillight. For this particular build, we've decided to go with the smoked version of the taillight. We will undo the wiring and stretch it out and place it in this configuration here. We have these two threaded studs that have been overmolded into the enclosure of this taillight. Take a look at the OEM taillight. It has the same sort of a setup and has two brackets on either side that hold the taillight to the bike. So using an 8mm socket, I will undo the screws, undo the fasteners from the OEM setup and just transfer them to our new TST taillight. It's a fairly simple concept. If you lay the lights next to each other exactly in the same configuration, this is very, very easy. Now just make sure that the square ends of the rubber grommet that is held by this bracket goes inside the geometry that is meant to hold it. That's what I'm talking about, this U-shaped geometry that holds the square. And then just tighten down on that. Obviously, you should exercise care when tightening this. At some point, you will exert so much torque on this fastener pair that you will likely rip out the overmolded stud. So please exercise care there. We'll flip these 180. And I will point out that there is a damper pad here that needs to be transferred to the same location on the new taillight. So if you peel it up from the corner really carefully, you can just reuse this pad. There we go. And now we can put this to the side and install this on the bike. At this point, we are ready to put this taillight assembly back on the bike. Observe the routing feature for the wiring here. And we will get it in these routing guides, cable management clips. And you notice we have a little bit of extra length here. So I will just double it up. I will plug it in. And we will need to replace these two fasteners that we took out earlier. Now these brackets do slip over a shoulder on the accepting boss. So before you start screwing the screws in, make sure you find that location. This centers these brackets in their appropriate location, side to side. And of course, as always, when screwing a self-threading fastener into plastic, exercise care not to over tighten it. This looks really good. Let's plug the signals in now. We have an orange and a blue plug here. This white plug will also accept one of these, but the white plug is meant for a license plate light, so this will remain disconnected for now for the purpose of our tail light. These are all the connections that you need to make. All right, so I will test the system now. You can see we have signals, we have running light, we have brake light. I managed to plug in the left and right signal in the right configuration. If yours are reversed, just reverse the plugs that just went into the orange and blue plug and you'll be good to go. So if this is the only install you're doing, now you're ready to go in the reverse order of disassembly and complete your project. As I mentioned in our intro, I will be taking this down and doing some other things. So we'll just breeze right through that, show you a little time lapse, and then be good to go. I wanted to mention, just like I did in the intro, we do have a hyper flash situation. It is flashing much faster, so I will quickly remove the OEM relay and replace it with our Gen 2 flasher relay that we make here. As you can see, we're back to the proper flash rate. It's really simple. When you have the bike stripped down, it doesn't take any time at all. All right, so let's go on and do the other conversions that I talked about, and we'll come back and show you guys some of the light patterns that this thing can achieve. All right, now up top here, these last 4 fasteners in the bodywork, the short ones with the shoulder here, those will go in the forwardmost positions. And the rearmost holes receive, these guys are fully threaded and they don't have a shoulder. Now an important note here is that these rearmost fasteners are screwed into a rubber well nut. You will not feel a hard bottom when you try to bottom these out, and if you over tighten them, you will damage that rubber well nut. So engage the well nut and do not go beyond that tightness. All right, you guys, we are done with this installation. I really like the results. It doesn't take a lot of time, but it really transforms the whole rear end of this motorcycle. It really complements the body lines and the design language that was put into this bike. I'm really proud of this part, and I hope that you'll visit us at tstindustries.com to get more info, check out additional photos that we have of these parts, and hopefully we'll see you next time.